right, we have everyone present except for one. Ryan Tolley is absent. If you would, please stand with me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you've all had a chance to review the agenda. I need a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. No one signed up for public comment this evening, so we'll skip that portion and go right into the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda for this evening, we'll review and approval of the minutes. And those are the May 19th minutes, special session, and the May 12th regular session minutes. A review and approval of claims. A review and approval of fundraiser. There are no donations this month. Review and approval of field trips. Review and approval of personnel report, and review and approval of out-of-district transfers. So if you all have had a chance to review those, I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on any of those items? Pretty straightforward. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Next item up is approval of CDL bus driver pay rate. You want to go over what that is, what it was and what it's going to be?
Yeah, there was a recommendation that came about, a month or two ago, concerning the pay rate for drivers, which they deserve a pay increase. There was a couple of pieces to it that help me out with the retirement fund. Perf. There was a perf piece to it too. My suggestion was a larger daily rate increase than normal. Skip that perf this time.
So,
Well, some of those people were already on.
well, not for the bus driving.
Right, I understand that.
So the old pay rate was $98, and we're going to, was it 110? Is that what it is?
110.
All right, that's for this CDL bus driver, not the mini buses, the large buses. So I need a motion, a second to approve the bus driver new pay rate.
Make a motion to approve the new bus driver pay rate.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, a second. Any further questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. New business, review and approval of Baker Tilly engagement letter. You can just read what that has on there.
I would if I
I don't
had.
have it with me in front of
Vicky may have to read that.
What's it?
just that.
The
Basically, a synopsis of what that is. That review, that Baker Tilly engagement letter.
And it's not online.
It's page
Well, I've got
You
it.
got it up there?
41 to 53, and we don't want to read the whole thing.
Which pages you look, because this is saying it's 13 pages. Which one are you wanting
I mean,
read?
basically, it's just a letter to engage in business with
Right.
Baker Tilly. I mean, for our financial bond issues, whatever. Nothing. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So it's nothing.
But they charge us a flat fee, correct? And then if we need, the way I read it, if we have other questions or how do they?
Different things that they come and present or something like that. They charge.
If the-
charge
If the president comes, it's
separate margin. Yeah, we'll keep
about
it- we'll keep
$600
them away
an
from
hour.
here. Like we don't need it around here.
The other one's 125.
Yeah. So it's something that we do on a year. We have to do on a yearly basis. So
They help with the budget as well. Is that what I understood?
They don't steeple
Yeah,
Okay,
they don't, they're mainly the,
Good luck keeping them apart.
yeah, it's confusing, but it's, because they kind of work together as well. So, you know, so we've been on calls with both of them at the same time, and so it's hard to really separate
Differentiate.
who's, they
I
kind of all
thought I
do
read that name in there
all
somewhere.
the same stuff, but, so I need a motion and a second to approve, engagement letter for Baker Tilly.
I'll make a motion to approve the engagement letter of Baker Tilly.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. No further questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of employee post-tax deduction for Maryland's Village. This is just an option we're making available to our employees if they want to donate to Maryland's Village right off of their paycheck. That's going to be available for them to be able to
Yes.
do that. So,
Voluntary.
well, yeah. So it's going to be made the word, yeah. That's what Ryan wants. So, voluntary. So it's going to make it an option to be able to do that. So, so I need a motion and a second to make that a possibility for this next school year.
Make a motion to approve, giving staff the option to have an automatic deduction taken out of their pay for Maryland's Village.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. All right, review and approval of 24 pay, moving to 24 pays instead of the 26 that we currently do for all staff. And what it will, right now, we're set up every other Friday, correct?
Yeah.
Right now, we're set for every other Friday pay. What it's going to go to is, it'll be pay on the 5th and the 20th of each month. And what it's going to do is going to eliminate, right now, we have 2 months out of the year where we have three pay periods a month, and that always tries to kind of runs havoc sometimes on some of the things that we need to do as far as money wise, because we've got 3 pay periods in a month. So this is going to be a lot easier for our ladies in the office to be able to oversee stuff, and it's just going to be simpler. So I know they have reached out to the employees, staff, and asked questions about if it's going to be an issue, a major issue, and I haven't heard back any major feedback on that. I don't know, Mark, if you did or not.
We got an email from the grade school, and she said it was received without a whole lot of issue. I think she said 95% of them were in favor. Did you hear back from Scott?
Well, I talked to him today, and he thought it was pretty much split district-wide.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the middle school is pretty split. The only thing that I heard back from the general and staff is that, like some of the non-certs are, they're under the impression that they can't get paid over the summer, and so, because I know we talked about like them having that option to get paid over the summer, and so if we do go to this, then maybe just kind of letting all of the non-certs let everybody know, it's like, if you want paid over the summer, if you want to pay throughout the calendar year, you do have that option. Just understand, obviously, your pay would be a little bit less to cover that it's going out to all 24 pays. So,
And that's one of the things we were going to, I talked about incorporating into this, when the change is made, those aides, et cetera, would be able to choose that plan if that's what they want, a full year plan.
and I think some would take that up if we do the 24. At least some of the aides that I've talked to from the middle school, at least.
And just to clear it up, we say the 5th and the 20th, and if the 5th and the 20th fall on a weekday, that's what the days they'd be paid. But the 5th and the 20th, if they happen to fall on a weekend or a holiday, the employees would be paid the previous weekday. So if the 5th was on a Sunday, they get paid on the 3rd.
Is it going to be like he said, Vicky, is it? Are aides going to have the option of,
That's not the intent. No, it'd
I
be
was thinking if we
24
moved
paid
to
for everybody.
24, it's gonna be,
Right,
it's gonna be everybody.
right.
Oh, okay, so even the non-certs, so it's like no matter what, they would get paid.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
So what it'll be, when I talk to you, it's like whatever their regular hours are supposed to work. It's just gonna be divided up through the whole school year, and they'll get paid that same amount, on those days, so.
so when, like, they would still have to turn in their timesheets, is that still just turning it in every single Friday, but it's assumed that?
No, it's a 15-day.
Okay, so would it be just like the day before, like when?
I'm not sure of all the dates and such, but it's
Okay.
the 1st through the 15th, and then the 16th through the 30th or 31st,
Okay,
whatever that month is.
okay, so like for their timesheets, they would only really be turning in 2 a
So a
month?
month. Mhm.
Okay, because I think right now, I think they're turning them in every single week,
Yes,
so,
every
okay.
other week, every other week.
Oh, okay, every 2 weeks there, okay, so.
All right, well, we need a motion and a second to move to this new 24 pay procedure.
I'll make a motion to approve the employee, or sorry, I lost my line. For the approval of the payroll, 24 pay, sorry. I
You
didn't-
had it.
Yes, I didn't move my screen.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other questions on this?
So it has been basically ran through the staff then? I mean,
Yeah, they got emails a couple, 2-3 weeks ago asking
Yeah, we asked last week,
about,
yeah, asked, like, getting their opinions on them, and I know during the summer, like, I only heard from middle school, 12 really responded to my survey out of everybody. I know I missed a chunk, because I know some, they don't read their emails during the summer, and I tried to reach out to as many as I could. But I'm just kind of saying this again, so it's like, is the plan to do a memorandum or something, so that our new contracts would reflect the 24 pay? Because I know it's something like that's gonna have to happen, otherwise, it's like when we go to the next contracts, our contracts are still.
we'll have to change the wording in there, in the
Yeah.
contract,
So,
reflect that, so. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of posting a Title I instructional aid position for the elementary school. Look, is this an additional position, or is
No.
this covering some
Miss
other?
Miss McGinnis.
Oh, yeah.
Say that correct?
Yeah,
McGinnis,
Brittany.
has resigned, she resigned. I believe the last meeting,
No, it's on this
This one?
personnel.
Yeah.
This,
So
Yeah.
this would be replacing
Question her.
that
Okay.
position.
All right.
Would be with Title I funds.
So we need a motion and a second to post that Title I instructional aid position.
I'll make a motion to post the Title I position.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of elementary playground equipment. This equipment will be paid for from the Fannie Mae fundraiser proceeds. And there was a quote in there for some different playground equipment in your board packet. So we need a motion, a second to approve the purchase of new elementary playground equipment.
Make a motion to approve purchase of additional playground equipment for the elementary.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions on that?
Yeah, what is that P6 ball? Just for,
I don't know. You know what that is? Yeah, it's just some kind of game. I don't know what it means. I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not totally sure either. They brought this to me and told me what they wanted to
P6?
do with it. It's-
P6?
P6 ball? I don't know. Maybe like
Russ said something about, it's the pit like you guys have over
a
there.
gaga pit thing with
The,
a
yeah, the pit on the,
octagon. Yeah.
where you turn around in your car.
Yeah.
whatever. Something similar to that is what
Yeah.
I believe he said.
Well, it's 6 feet. I don't know if that's in diameter or what.
I don't know. We should be able to play it tonight. I think about here. We should be able to test it
Try
out.
it out.
Maybe that'll be on a future meeting. So, yeah, I don't know. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of NX ventilation quote. And this is the ventilation system for the welding booths.
What did you tell me you want me to do this? Just
We'll
welding
just do this
right
one
now?
right here, yeah, right now.
Okay. The one thing I proved to myself was that I'm not real good at estimating the expense of certain things. The good news is I overestimated in numerous cases and underestimated in numerous other cases, so we came out about even. But, one of the things I underestimated was the ventilation system for the welding program. Right now, the welding program, the ventilation system's almost non-existent. And I mean, when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. But we have to do something different with it. Doesn't even come close to code. In fact, this code's not even remotely involved with what we have. In fact, the whole thing is covered in wood. Blew my mind. I said, that's an accelerant in the welding area. So so far we have removed the wood. I told them we would remove the wood so they could come in. We're gonna try to angle iron everything in. All the walls are gonna be iron on them, across them, to keep them from moving any particular force. We were looking at 6 different booths. And I've given you a packet that not only shows what the price is at $36,000, but it also shows you what it is you're gonna get for $36,000. It's a versatile piece that there will be a tank up on near the ceiling that this thing right here will suck up all the sparks, the fumes, everything into a tank. So I have Lindy involved in it. Guy named Austin Abney, I think some of you guys probably know him. He came and observed what we were doing, came back with some ideas, and I think this is probably the best thing for us to do. It will allow us to meet code, which in a program like that, I think is pretty important. So, anybody have any questions on it?
Does the other schools, do they chip in as well, or how does that work?
This is not the welding program, this is just for our like.
Oh,
ag
okay,
and stuff.
yeah, because the welding program's in.
Like
Okay.
FFA and all,
Yeah, right.
because our kids go to,
Oh,
Central.
yeah.
It's all us here, so. All right, so what was the amount on it again? 30,
$36,267.87.
okay.
That includes telescoping arms, blower, I'm not sure what a lot of this is, dual arms. You can see if you look through what I've given you a whole idea of what those even will look like.
Mhm.
So that young man who's maybe doing a welding piece in there, he can move the actual
Closer.
ventilation right down to it.
Right.
It's gonna be flexible
Okay. When will this be completed?
this summer.
Yeah, okay.
He's ready to start as soon as I tell him.
All right, well, we need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve the quote from Lindy for the ventilation project in the annex.
And this will be, just so you guys know, this will be bond money.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of 2025-26 all staff procedures and routines sign off sheet. Do you have a copy of that with you?
I do not.
I read through that.
It's 360 pages long.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez.
Do you have a copy of that? Mike?
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
2 pages.
Should be, yeah.
yeah.
I don't think a whole lot's changed in the previous year.
We'll cover several different things. From the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the day to signing off on stuff or a crisis plan it's not new. It's just maybe a little bit updated version of our current current staff procedures. We just have to approve it, so, we need a motion, a second to approve that procedure and routine sign-off sheet.
I'll make a motion to approve the routine and procedure sign-off sheet.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of Covington High School, Covington Middle School Staff Handbook for the 25-26 school year. Haven't seen any, no major changes in that. This next school year
No.
needs to be approved from year to year, so.
I did read through those. They're highlighted in yellow when you look for them. And in some cases, there's not more than 1 or 2 per book, and they're
Yeah,
simple.
might just change some wording here or there, so nothing major. So we need a motion, a second to approve that staff handbook.
Make a motion to approve the 25-26 certified staff handbook.
I'll second it.
Have a motion, a second to approve the handbook. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of the high school 2025-26 emergency procedures crisis plan. Basically what that is, it's your,
We have a crisis plan at all 3 buildings.
Yeah.
This year's crisis plan came into play when we had the audit by the
Mhm.
state. We had proved that we had the actual crisis plan. Has been in place, still is in place, will remain in place. Not much changes to it either.
Mhm.
A lot of times you go through those, what you end up seeing changed is the dates.
right.
Mhm.
Well,
to
it
reflect this year's.
mentions stuff like where you would gather at and that sort of stuff, so. We need a motion, a second to approve the emergency procedures crisis plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency procedures and crisis intervention plan for 2025-26.
Got a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of high school 2025-26 student handbook. Kind of the same procedure as the staff handbook, not, maybe some wording changes, but nothing on a major scale on those handbooks.
Make a motion to approve the high school student handbook for 25-26.
I'll second it.
Have a motion, a second. Any questions on that?
Can you bring that one up? First page of it.
Of the student handbook.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to see what the front page looked like on it.
Did we miss the middle school emergency procedure crisis plan?
I did,
Okay.
yeah. We'll go back to that.
Yeah.
They all kind of blend together here.
Mhm.
So we need a motion and second on the high school student handbook, then we'll go back and hit that.
I'll make a motion to
We
approve it.
already had motion second, we already had that, okay. Oh, so we've had a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. We'll go back and hit this middle school 25-26 emergency procedures crisis plan. Nothing, Mark said no major changes in there, just kind of dates. So we need a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the middle school emergency procedures and crisis intervention plan.
Second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of middle school
Handbook.
25-26 student handbook. Need a motion and a second for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the 25-26 middle school student handbook.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, review and approval of teacher evaluation instrument. You've done a little bit of changing on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I asked the principals a couple months ago or better how they felt about the evaluation procedures. Because the actual evaluation looked to be page after page after page long. It was bought through a company called Pivot. So I asked them if they would prefer looking into something different. I put this one together. It's basically based on state rubric, state standards for evaluation that the state of Indiana does, an effectiveness rubric. I put it together with a simple document that is, I don't know, 10 or 12 pages long, that they feel a lot more comfortable using. It's a lot simpler to understand. It's all based just on what the state tells you need to do, but it's easier for the teachers to deal with and for the administration to deal with. You're asking 54, that pivot had 54 different areas, questions that they were asking. That's crazy. By the time you get to the 54th, no one remembers what happened on the first one. So this will be a lot easier to use. And it will all still be something the state of Indiana feels comfortable with as far as their benchmarks.
And you talked to Holly about this as well.
I have. I sent it to Holly, showed it to her. She sent a message back to me telling me she loved it. She thought it was very good for the teachers and for the administration. It will cut out a lot of time that they've been wasting, I think, to the teacher evaluation instrument M and N, the RISE rubric, those really are the same thing. You can just include those together because it's teacher evaluation.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we need a motion, a second, to approve the new, teacher evaluation form, basically.
I'll make a motion to approve the new teacher evaluation form.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Okay.
Aye. We'll go ahead, just for procedure, we'll go ahead and just do this. A review and approval of teacher evaluation RISE rubric, which is tied into that evaluation form, so I need a motion and a second to approve that as well.
I'll make a motion for the teacher evaluation RISE rubric.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second for the RISE rubric. All in favor? Aye. None opposed. Review and approval of 25-26 food service bid recommendations. This covers food service bid, the GPO, milk and dairy, snack and beverage. Those 4 items. We voted last month on our prices going forward for next school year, so this is just approving those bids to cover those food items that we'll be receiving. So, need a motion, a second to approve this food service bid.
I'll make a
Do we
motion.
need to vote on each one of those 4?
I don't think so. I think it's all under this just the food service. It's the food service bid as a whole. So
I'll make a motion to approve the food service bid for 25-26 bid as a whole.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, a second. Any questions on this? All in favor? Aye. None opposed. First reading of policies. I'm not going to read all these. Policy 0166.1 to 7455, first reading. We don't actually need a motion on these because this is just the first reading. We'll have a second reading in July to approve those policy changes. Again, nobody set for public comment this evening. So we'll move to administrative reports. What, Vicky, anything for us, Vicky? Anything out of the ordinary that we haven't already seen?
No, not anything out of the ordinary. I do have a little bit as far as after the meeting, if anybody wants to see how to get to our meetings and how to subscribe to our meetings and request to speak at the meetings on the new platform.
Okay.
Has anybody tried the new platform?
I didn't even know it was available.
Yeah, we're
The
still
agenda was.
testing it.
All right. Did Ross have anything for you? We
In mind. You ready for me?
ready for you.
Okay.
Let's start on the treasurer's report, Chad.
No.
Let's start with a 5-year facility plan piece right here. You can see what it is we've accomplished so far, which isn't a lot. We've got a lot done though, just getting these bids in, which I've got about 7 bids to even show you. From Venture, Linscomb, and Davis. We are making some progress. We have about 30 things left to do, and I hope in July, when someone comes back to you, that there's about another dozen of these things that are crossed off. Some of them we're about halfway through. We've started on some of them. We just haven't finished them yet. We started the painting out of the complex. So they're busy scraping dugouts, doing different things out there. We got a lot of people who are already on our list as far as ready to start. We've got Linscomb, who's ordered all of the HVAC units we need. They should be in at the end of the week. And he's hoping to get started maybe next week on those, depending upon if there's any emergencies that come up. But he's ready to get going on some of this stuff. So, you'll notice I gave you another package of projects. If you go to the page on Go Bond items for 2023, we have about 6 things completed. We've got 10 things left to do that are on this that are going to be bonded. We're going to use bond money for.
How much of that money we have left? 23 bond.
More than you know.
Okay.
More than this is, I can tell you that. Originally, I had this bond for 2023 being $560,000, but some of the bids came in a lot less than I thought. We changed some of what we were doing, so by changed some of what we were doing. Let's just take the HVAC. We were going to go ahead and put those units in that had heating, air conditioning together. They were $110,000 to $120,000 each. And when some of the teachers told me the ones that had those units told me they didn't like them. They sounded like an airplane taking off, and so on and so forth. We switched directions and went to rooftop units, which are cheaper. So we did save some money that way, but I think Linscomb even feels more confident with them. So,
And that will work with all existing vent work and
yeah,
everything.
yep. And the amount of money we're gonna spend on it is, HVAC is expensive. You guys know that. It's ridiculously expensive. But the one thing it does do is that all the electrical, any piece of that is needed, they cover the expense of. We just pay them and we're done. The expense of it, so. Anyway, any questions on those two pieces? I'll keep you informed. I'll keep crossing these things off as we go.
Mark, there's just one on the kitchen ceiling tile.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's gonna be a venture thing.
I'll go over it with you here in just a minute. I got a bid for that. So,
For the 2023 Go Bond, our balance right now is about 536,000.
And we got till 26, fall 26 to spend that amount of money. No, I think it was 3 years. Yeah.
and you'll notice what I put in there is 471,000. I even included the fire alarm, which was a lot less than I thought it would be. I expected that to come in between $25,000 and $30,000, shows what I know. The new fire alarm for this building came in at 16,
It was gonna be like 240.
and that's already been paid. Bond. I will go over the rest of the bids we have for what it is that's on these 5-year sheets and stuff. One thing I'll start with, you'll see in your packet is gym floor refinishing. Apparently every year you've pretty much done all the gym floors. Ross and I sat down and talked. I don't see a reason why we shouldn't put these on. You guys tell me how you feel about it. We talked about the idea of a rotational basis. You do 2 year, 1 year, and 2 another year. We suggested we do high school and the grade school gym this year and not do the junior high and the MPR, simply because the junior high is going to have so much foot traffic this year. I don't know whether or not they can find time to even be able to come in and do it. Between plumbers coming in, painters in the building, et cetera, I can't imagine them finding time to come in, because when they reseal those floors, sometimes it's at least a week or two before you want somebody on them. So, or even near them. I mean, you want the building sealed off so nobody messes it up. But so, does anybody have a feeling on that? I mean, I just suggested I've never been anywhere where they did them all in 1 year.
I don't know how they evaluate them as far as if they actually need it.
I just know that from my kids playing on the middle school court, that it's like a skating rink over there sometimes, pretty slippery. I don't know, there might be something that they could just be able to mop it with that helps the tackiness of the,
I've been in there. I don't think there's anything wrong with the floor.
yeah, no.
It's a wet towel,
Yeah, it just needs to be,
and you got to do it all the time.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the floor. It is slick,
Mm-hmm.
but that's just a wet towel with mop.
Well, the NPR and the middle school gym are $5,000. The elementary is $3,150, and the main gym is $4,400. You'd be doing the main gym and the junior high gym, the grade school gym, the high school and the grade school gym, and then the following year you'd be doing the multi-purpose in the middle school gym. Anybody got a problem with that plan?
No, I mean, if they don't need it, there's no need of spending the money to do it.
I'll be honest with you, I mean, it's important that it gets done, but I don't think there's too many districts that I've been a part of anyway, they did them every year. So. I don't know this company, but apparently you've used them before. Nup now? Is that how you say it?
I've never heard of it.
Nuppnau.
Ryan,
I've heard so.
Ross said he's dealt with them before. Do you remember having
How do you spell that?
Nuppnau?
it's Ryan is his first name. I never,
Crawford.
Oh,
So,
Unless they changed their name.
all right, I'll let Ross know on that one. Next one, Davis. Davis Electric is giving me 3 separate bids. We told him what we needed, wondered what he could help with. I'm surprised when he gave us a bid for the high school kitchen ceiling and lights. But he's giving you a bid of $9,268 for what you wanted to do as far as electrically within there, that kitchen area. Apparently it's been, code-wise, it's been short. What we needed electrically to plug in some of the things we've had to plug in. And this will include conduits run from the east electrical box to a main junction box to the center cooking area. 2 3/4 conduits ran from main junction box, cooking area, north and south end of the kitchen. Twin 1-inch conduits ran from each electrical room to main junction box, the center of the serving area. I mean, it goes on about the things that they're going to look at, taking care of as far as electrically within that kitchen. Because there are some deficiencies in what you've got in the box you've got. If you ever wanted to add another piece of equipment, you could do it. So,
Are we required to get bids from more than one supplier on certain things? Is it
$50,000.
dollar amount? Is that what it is?
$50,000.
Okay.
Now, Davis is also giving you separate bid on installing LED fixtures throughout the kitchen area. wiring those lights in. That particular bid is $10,876. And they would take care of all the lighting in the entire kitchen area, even all the way back where they do the dishes, back in that little separate room. The third one from Davis, I was really surprised he would bid on, but he bid on demoing and disposing the old fiber drop ceiling in the high school kitchen area. The only thing that worries me about this particular bid is the fact that I think I kind of want to talk to him first about asbestos, because I know asbestos in that ceiling tile. Have you seen the ceiling tile?
Yeah.
Been there.
That stuff,
Well, that stuff's been in there a long time, right?
and it's nasty.
But I mean, it would have been produced in an area where, like you said, it's pretty likely there is.
I would think,
To what
though,
degree,
I would
you know?
think that hasn't been touched since the school was built, you think, in the, whatever, 1970?
Other than all, some of the tile that are missing, no.
Yeah.
Say no.
Miss
I guess
Miss
I'm-
Davis would know.
I'm guessing some of those tiles are missing because they had to go up above them to do something, and there's absolutely no way to put them back
Yeah,
together.
right. Well, that's something we gotta, yeah, if that's gonna be an issue, I mean, it's nice, it costs more to tear stuff out and then just replace it, then just, you're just gonna leave it, if we can leave it, so.
Well, but if I remember correctly, if there's a difference between destruction, because they're just gonna take those tiles out of it. They're not breaking them up.
No.
So like if you're going into a wall or you're going into, something like that, where you're actually,
You're just removing a tile.
yes,
Mhm.
you're not,
Breaking it up. And
because where it becomes a problem being airborne and those kind of things, if I remember correctly, it's from the destruction of,
Mhm.
dust or whatever, and that's, I mean, Eric will know.
You got any problems with me just asking to make sure, though?
No, that's
I
fine.
mean, I read through it and I thought, I can't believe this, because I know I've seen high schools that they've torn down, demolished,
Mhm.
and it cost $800,000 or
Yeah.
whatever
Just
in
a-
asbestos removal before they could tear the building down.
Right.
I just want to make sure we're not getting into something that
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask.
get yourself in trouble for. So I'll ask a couple of questions about it. Not only does it include the disposal and the demolition of that old ceiling, the old ceiling in there, but it includes the installation of a new Class A fire-rated drop ceiling throughout the kitchen area. All ceiling tracking will be fire code rated. Existing ceiling heights will be maintained for equipment and existing perimeter molding use. Class A fire rated tiles with some smooth finish will be installed for washing and moisture purposes. That particular bid for all that work in the kitchen is $32,773.
And I don't know, I thought, I wouldn't mind on that, something like that, getting some additional bids, just to see how we compare.
Well, we did ask,
Here's what you're gonna run into, and it's frustrating as a contractor, I've dealt with it many times, is when we do this stuff right here at a board meeting, everything goes public, and then you ask somebody to give you another bid.
Mhm.
Everybody, we say what the bids are, then you go out in the public, and it's not fair to the people
Yeah,
that
because they've already,
they've already submitted, we've already said the price.
yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of one of those things, if we need to determine that prior to the board meeting,
Mhm.
what we're gonna bid out.
Before we make them amounts public, yeah,
Exactly,
because if we're just going off a price, like, oh, come in at $1,
exactly,
$1
and
lower.
it happens.
Yeah, I
I've
understand.
been there.
There's no way to avoid that.
No,
No,
unless it was
You gotta change the scope of the work.
yeah, substantial, somebody comes in, well, I can do that, $20,000 is a little different than coming in at $300 cheaper than it bid.
Well, the other thing is too, is that we definitely, that's a job that needs to be done
Yeah,
this summer. So you're also talking about just stretching the whole process out.
well, and if they're in there putting in light fixtures, that's all part of that existing ceiling so imagine a lot of that scope work will be done all at the same time, But we can't actually, and this is not on tonight's agenda, so it wouldn't be actually on approval till next meeting.
Yeah, your next
Yeah,
meeting.
so, and then at that point, I think
This
July
time I would be running out of time at that point.
July 14th is our next meeting, so then you got the school starting to,
So I bring it to you now. Maybe we just got some of these bids, but
mhm.
if you want the work done, we gotta move forward.
Well, if Eric could say, hey, if this is approved on July 14th, I can have guys in there 2 days later, and get this knocked out and, so
Agreed.
see what his timetable would be, I guess.
All right. I'll move on to the next one, which is replacing plumbing fixtures in the middle school gym and the annex. This does not say the annex, but I had Ross call to make sure for him and Venture on June 5th. He called to make sure the annex was actually included in this, and it is. So the quote is for $6,191. This is another one I missed drastically. I think I thought this bid would come in close to 18,000. So I was way off.
Good.
So, in our favor, way off. Anybody got any questions on that one? That will include all of the toilets, urinals, sinks, the works. We had talked with Venture concerning this particular thing, and Ross was gonna go ahead and have the old ones, have the water shut off and the old ones removed to make it quicker for them when they came in.
My only question would be,
So,
if we're looking here in the near future to do some major stuff across the street, I don't want to put a whole lot of money into stuff that can't be reused, like toilet. I guess toilet can be reused, but I don't want to put a lot of money into it, and then we end up going on this, hey, we're gutting this place and we're doing something different with it. Yeah, well, I don't want to put a lot of money into the gym and annex if we're gonna do some major things where that money would just be a wash. But
Right.
if it's stuff that can be, repurposed and reused, that's another story.
Well, the things that he's doing in there right now, that has to be done before we let kids.
Yeah.
We all know that situation.
Mm-hmm.
we're replacing all the lockers in there too when we're done.
Yeah.
That's the plan. We've got lockers here we don't have to purchase.
Yeah, just moving them. Yeah.
We've got lockers at the grade school that aren't being used. In both locker rooms there. We could move into that area. So I see no purpose in buying them if they've got brand new ones that haven't been
Yeah.
used.
No.
So, the next piece is from Linscomb. This is the HVAC stuff. We're looking at doing 2 rooftop units with dehumidification, field installed hydraulic heat coils, electrical service to each rooftop unit, roofing penetration. We'll even have, he pays for it out of his. Century Roofing will be here to take care of setting these up on the roof and making sure that they don't leak. So, but they're $82,920 a piece. We originally thought the units we'd been purchasing were gonna be 120, something of that nature. So going with the rooftop is a little bit less. We do have to have 2 of them done. We have 2 rooms at the grade school that have no. Mr. Noble's room and Mrs. Hughes's room. Mrs. Holliday's room, we thought we were gonna have to do it with it, but he came in, was able to take care of the issue. The second page is for the unit at the junior high office area. They haven't had air conditioning in several years, it's my understanding.
I don't think they've ever had it, have they? Was it ever, I don't think they ever installed it when they built that new addition.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I just know they have nothing.
They got they got a unit that sits in the, back in the corner, that's like a mobile unit, what they use. It doesn't get the job
To
done.
take care of that office is $48,000. There's also some other HVAC work you'll see that's on the 5-year. These, 2 of them are air handlers that at this moment in time, he's under the impression he can fix. I said, if you can fix it, that's great, but we can't continue to do what we did this past year. We have this loud, what kind of noise would you call
It's like
it?
a whistling sound. We had it
Yeah,
a few years ago with the annex, and we put a new boiler in there, but now it's coming out of the high school.
I'm guessing that there's some neighbors that aren't real happy with the
Yeah.
whistling noise.
You're within three blocks of the school,
It whistled pretty much most of the time.
keeps you awake at night.
It doesn't discrete between nighttime and daytime,
No.
so.
When you get down to a certain temperature, it's like a harmonic balancer in there, something that's not.
So
yeah.
those have to be taken
Loud.
care of. I think he's got an idea that he can take care of those without replacing them. And the last thing is, there's a small heating unit, this will be very minimal, in the back of that greenhouse that does not work. We replaced the door to the greenhouse because the door was not there any longer. Somebody busted it up. So the door's been replaced. If we replace that heating unit, I think it can be used. You've got a class that can use that greenhouse piece. It's a forestry type of class that they haven't been able to use it. So it will be usable. So that's the end of, for that, that was the end of what we talked about for HVAC for next year, or this summer. Anybody got any questions on the HVAC? Mohawks, not totally happy with Mohawks. They apparently originally did the, correct me if I'm wrong, Vicki, they originally did the fob systems in our building, in all of our buildings, and they should have had a map that told them where all of the boxes were, because there's boxes for each of the control boxes. I'm not talking about the boxes that are on the door that you swipe. I'm talking about a control box. And each building had a particular number of control boxes. Well, they miscalculated the number of control boxes in all of our buildings and decided that the high school and the elementary had another control box and transformer and power supply and one netcom. I don't know what these things are.
Did they bid it as a,
They originally bid it, but the bid can't. The original bid actually came in as an attachment to your secure entry piece. So we were going off the bid that they had subjected us to when that secure entry piece was put in place and the architect had it bid out. So Mulhops is the one that bid on that and got it for like $32,000. So we went ahead and used Mulhops because we had used them before and they might have been the only bid they had, I don't know. but we were using the bid that they gave us. When they came back in and said, well, there's another box on each building that we didn't account for.
It wasn't on the original scope on the bid, on the plans?
No. And I haven't been real thrilled with their work either. They are, here one day, gone the next. Here the next day, gone the next. So, and like even the administration building, I can get in the front door. I don't know whether Vicky's tried, I can't get in the back door. They haven't So, I mean,
Well, what other options?
Well, surely we got retainage that we're holding on them, don't we? Well, have they been paid? They haven't been paid, have they?
I don't believe so. And it'll come out of a bond.
We just need to make sure that we hold retainage on them until they get everything.
So everything's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't want them, I have no
Yeah,
no
no,
desire
back up.
to pay them until it's completed and to our satisfaction. But
Right.
we were told that, and Paul confirmed this, he said that's probably right, the life of the system is about over. He said you could walk in one day and they just didn't work. There wasn't anything we could do about it. So I said, well, we probably better have that taken care of. Anybody have any questions on that?
So the $2,000 is basically for stuff that didn't get bid in the first place.
And I don't know the total number of boxes each building have, and so many doors on each box. I would say in this building, you'll probably find a box on the west side of the junior high, maybe wing, maybe a box on the east side that controls the east side door. I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Somehow they miscalculated how many boxes there were. And that's what they're doing, is replacing those control boxes. The last thing I have is from Zach Thomas. Zach came in and that secure entry piece, which came back, you guys at $233,000, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's correct.
237.
233,000. Well, a major portion of that was the SRO office and moving that. This is just for the SRO office. Doesn't include the rest of the things that were on that particular bid. You're looking at $24,000 for that SRO office. Now that would include so-called bulletproof glass and so on and so forth with it. It would be framed. It would sit right there at the
That first doorway.
Northeast.
door in that foyer.
Okay. This is all stuff that could be on next month's agenda,
Yeah,
so that gives us some time to.
yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of this stuff, I need to tell them to go ahead and get started on. If I wait till next month, they won't
Right.
be done.
Mhm.
I don't have any problem.
So you have to, you gotta tell me at least a direction tonight. And you can vote on it next month. We can go from there, but I gotta have
We need it done, yeah, before.
Well, we could, for the things that we need to get done, we could have a special. I think we gotta vote on it before they can
yeah,
start the work, so we could have a special meeting and say, hey, there's what we vote on, so they can get rolling. So I guess the thing to do would be talk to them and be like, hey, what kind of time frame are we looking at? When do you have to get started on this, so we know when we have to have it.
Well, like the HVAC becomes a different story because he's gonna rely on Century Roofing, he's gonna rely probably
Right.
on Davis Electric,
Mhm.
he's gonna rely on others that he's gonna pay,
Yeah.
but he's gonna rely on them and their schedules to
Yeah.
get everything
I
accomplished.
mean, do we have to have another meeting to approve them, to approve any of it, or?
I think we have to, yeah, we have to prove it, prove the bids and
Has to be on
prove,
the
that's,
agenda.
yeah, so we could, something like that, HVAC, whether we got several people involved, they probably need as much time as possible to
So
get.
can we set up a special meeting like next week or how?
Yeah, we can, we'll just look at everybody's schedule, maybe get something down so we can get those items on there. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a 5-year sheet on, bank balances. You'll notice the bank balance is down, but we had not, in the past few years, you've had your local tax dollars have been in by May. They didn't come this year until June. So, what was that, Vicky? 1.6 million?
I believe so.
1.6 million is added to that bottom figure because we did not receive it in the normal timeframe. So if you look at May 31st of 2024, they had that money at that point in time. We did not have it this year. Don't know the reason for the holdup. I don't have any idea, but that happens.
So we do have it now.
Yes.
Everything's-
But it didn't come till after May 31st. That's what I'm saying. So you can add $1.6 million to that, most of which is in your operation fund.
Yeah.
We were negative.
All right.
Anybody got any questions on that?
No.
I'm done talking.
All right, you sure?
Yep. I think so.
All right. Any other board comments? I would like to just publicly thank Mr. Janeski. This will be his last official, well, maybe not, I guess we have another meeting. But I guess last official regular session meeting. I think things have gone pretty well, the last 6 months that you've been around, and really appreciate you. And I guess my question, what's our handoff method look like? All comes in, and I know you've been talking to her, and
I've started on a few things. I started on something for her today, basically a list of all of our vendors, everything from electrical to water to power to buses, who repairs the buses. I've got a list of about 25 or 30 different vendors that hopefully that will help her out a little bit. I told her she could just, I'm glad to come back and help her in any way that she needs. I think she's probably going to need some help following through on some of these work items that are going to be continuing on throughout the summer.
Right.
So I don't mind helping her. She and I have stayed in constant contact. I've tried to talk to her every week. I think she's excited, but I think she's nervous.
Yeah.
So about a lot of things. She hasn't sold her house yet.
yeah.
So
I talked to her yesterday. The plan is to be here, I think, on the 30th, I believe, leaving down there this next Sunday after this next Sunday, I guess, and then heading north. So excited to have her. Yeah, we appreciate all you've done, and every employee that I've talked to about you seems to praise you and had good things to say about you. So that was our goal. Somebody that come in and keep things afloat, but still kind of rally the troops and morale. And so we appreciate all you've done over there pulling weeds today. I mean, you've done it all. So.
couldn't sit behind that computer one more minute. Kept looking outside. Pretty nice.
Our next regular session meeting is set for July 14th. We could have something before that special session to approve some of these bids that we have, so that will be posted if that happens, so. All right, I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second. Sorry.
You guys want to stay around?
I know.
All right, I've had a motion and second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. None opposed, meeting adjourned.